In the name of Almighty Allah, the most gracious and merciful, may peace be on all. So, today I'll be talking to you regarding careers in mass communication journalism and what are the various careers one can take after completing his post graduation in mass communication journalism. Post graduation, I'm actually speaking because for doing post graduation in mass communication journalism, it is not essential or it's not necessary to have a bachelor's or a graduate degree in communication. You can have any degree, be it sciences, be it social sciences, be it arts, and then you can opt for mass communication or journalism in the post graduation level. My suggestion, if you are a science student or you are an art student or you are a social science student at the graduation level, and if you have this passion of media, of communication, of passing your message to others, letting the people know about the truth or whatever information you have, or even if you have a love for teaching, if you have a love for research, and even if you have a love for information dissemination, especially information dissemination in the society, because most of the people in our society, they are information deficient people or they are misinformed. So there are rare cases in which people are aptly informed, people are very well informed, or people are informed to the extent in which the information which they possess is beneficial for them. Because in today's world, most of the information which a person receives, be it from the information sources, be it from the media sources, or be it from any other sources, the information they receive, 60 to 70% of the information that they receive is actually misinformation. That information is of no use to you as a student, as a common man, as a teacher, as a researcher. That information is of no use to you, no use to any person. When we talk of careers in mass communication and journalism, the first thing that comes into our mind is teaching. For example, if a person does post-graduation in mass communication and journalism, then he qualifies. For example, if I am talking about my own country, so if a person goes for mass communication journalism at the PG level and then qualifies the national eligibility test, and then allows to go for research for PhD, so he has a very good option for becoming a teacher, for becoming an assistant professor, for becoming an associate professor or professor whatsoever. And one another thing in this about this media subject is that if you have a national eligibility test, you have qualified the national eligibility test when I talk of India, and you have a working experience, because when you talk of mass communication and journalism, it's not always that you are a theoretical person. You go on studying the theories and then theoretically you do the doctorate degree, or you theoretically complete the post graduation or the master of philosophy. So in this communication field, it is also essential that you have worked on the ground level. You have, at least during your post graduation, you should have worked at the ground level as a correspondent, as a journalist, as a freelancer, as a photojournalist. Even for example, there are many non-governmental organizations which are related to communication, which are related to media, which are related to mass communication. You have worked there during your post graduation, so that also gives you a lot of edge when you go for teaching, because whenever you teach, you obviously teach the things which you have studied as well as your own experience in the field. Also, when I was doing communication, when I was in the university, so in our subject there was a bit leniency when we talk of working during our post graduation. Many of my batchmates, they were actually working in various news organizations of the state of in which we were studying. So during this very study period, they also had that edge of working with the media, working with the media organization. Many of them were even working with the national media organizations at that time when they were doing their post graduation. So the first thing I was saying, that if you have a passion of doing communication and then becoming a communication teacher or a lecturer or a professor, so you should opt for you should complete your post graduation, have work during the post graduation as a journalist in any of the media organization which you like, be it print, be it electronic. Even today we have the web organization, we have the online organization, so you can even study and you can give your inputs. With this experience of yours, when you are a teacher tomorrow, you can give talk about this experience of yours, because this communication subject is 50% experience and 50% it is your studies. And I never say that study or the theoretical part of the communication or the mass communication is not important. It is very much important. But the thing is that along with your studies, you should have a know-how of the ground situation of the media, especially in the area, in the country, in the state in which you are working, in which you are studying. Another career which I want to talk about when someone does mass communication and journalism is advertising. Advertising is one of the sub-subjects of mass communication and journalism, and I think in our post-graduation, I think it was in third semester or fourth semester, you might be knowing that there are some of the biggest industries in the world, be it oil, be it automobiles, be it real estate. And among the, I think, first 10 biggest industries globally, as well as when I talk of about my own country, advertising is one of the biggest industries as far as revenue is concerned. So a communication person, a mass communication person can opt for this field as a profession in his future. Advertising is really a tough nut to break into, and there are I think there are just 5 to 10% of the students who really become good communication students who really become good advertisers, or who really have a good PR or media relation. The thing is that when a person who has done mass communication opts for advertising, so first he starts his advertising career while working in the print media, or while working with electronic media, or nowadays the online media. So as an advertiser, what he has to do and what are the roles he has to play, the first thing he has to do, he joins the advertising agency, definitely as an intern, where he is not paid much. And if he has that natural talent of being a good designer, designing good ads, having this edge over others, that he can be a good content creator. Because in an advertising, be it the print ad, be it the electronic ad, or nowadays be it the online ad, you need to have a catchy content to attract the audience. You need to know what the needs are, what is the want, or what is the need of your audience, your consumers who will watch your ad. You have to target that ad to them. This should be a point which a communication person should have if he has to go into the field of advertising. And once he settles himself or herself in the field of advertising, then sky is the limit for him, because advertising agency or the ad industry is one of the booming and one of the growing industries globally. When we talk of any other industry, be it automobile, be it oil, be it real estate, be it media itself, or everything today runs with advertising. When I was a student of communication in the university, I was told by my ad teacher that there are many industries, there are many organizations in the world that spend 90% of the budget of their products in advertising. So you can yourself imagine that people who are selling goods focus more on advertising their goods rather than the quality of their goods. Giving you a simple example how much advertising is important in nowadays is that if you are going to a market or a departmental store or a mall, there are 90% chances that you will pick the product of which you have seen the ad. For example, there are two products, of one of which is known to you through an ad. You have seen the ad on the TV, on any of the other media platforms, and there's one more product lying on the right side or the left side of the same product. And there are some chances that the product lying on the other side of this very product of which you have seen the ad is much better in quality than the product of which you have seen the ad. But there is 90% chances that you will go for the product of which you have seen the ad, because this advertising gives you a relation with that, makes your relation with that product, gives you information of that product beforehand, and many a times it makes you to take action. You directly go and then buy the product. That is advertising. So this is another career when we talk of careers in mass communication journalism. So the third one, which presently many of the people are going, are taking, and are self-reliant and are self-dependent by this career. It started, this career, this third career of mass communication journalism started with freelancing. What is freelancing? Freelancing means that as a journalist, you are loyal to your profession but not loyal to any specific organization. You can work in 10 organizations, but you are not loyal to any one organization. You work as a journalist in the field. You give your content, you give your stories to different organizations, or on a particular day you give your story to one organization. Next time you go to work for another organization, and then you give your story or your photograph or whatever they want from you as far as communication or media is concerned. You give them, and then they pay you accordingly. So this third career in mass communication journalism, actually the basis of this third career is this freelancing. Nowadays many of the people who are from the communication background, or even who are not from the communication background and just have a bit of experience of communication and media, they have started their YouTube channels, they have started their online platforms where they teach, where they blog, as well as where they share their photographs. There are many photojournalists, freelance photojournalists, who have a huge following on social media, and then the social media pay them accordingly as per their followers, as per the likes they get, as per the views they get. So this is one more career, but in this very career you have to grow in a way that makes your future, that makes your progress stable. It's not that you start any online platform, be it YouTube, be it any other web portal or any other thing, and then you produce a content for a week, and then in the next week, in the in the next month, or in the next year, till 50 days, till 60 days, till 2 months, till 3 months, you don't have any content on that, and then it's of no use. So if you have a passion of going to this online career making, be it vlogging, be it using social media platforms to pass on your message, and then this is one of the other careers which you can opt for. Another career which which is related to this very third point is actually short film making, or making short videos with themes, and then you can sell those videos, you can sell those short films, and you can showcase your short films, you can showcase your short videos with specific themes at various platforms. Regarding those platforms, I will make another video for for your information. So this is one another field that people today, they have mobiles in their hands, and then they shoot videos, they take photographs, and then they upload it on their social media sites. So as a student, after completing your post graduation, you can opt for these online platforms, be it short film making, be it those social media platforms, and then if you have those qualities of becoming a good YouTuber, or becoming a good vlogger, you can definitely go for this career as well. Also, when we talk of mass communication and journalism and the careers it has in future, one of the another important career option is your government jobs. First, we'll talk of the mostly the information officer jobs or assistant information officer jobs in the states as well as in the center, as well as the public relation officer jobs. For example, in our country, we have a paper, we have a government paper. Most of you might be knowing, that is known as the Employment News. It's published by the Department of Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So in this paper, it is published, I think, after every 14 days and twice a month. And so you can see in this paper, there are a lot of government jobs which are being advertised, and people apply for these posts, you will see almost in every employment newspaper, you will see that there are at least 2 3 media and communication and public relation and information related posts in which the posts are regarding information assistants, assistant information officers, communication officers, communication and advocacy officers, public relations officers in various universities, in various autonomous bodies, in various government departments, in various public sector undertakings. So this is one another career which you can opt for after completing your post graduation in mass communication. Another thing when we talk of this mass communication and journalism, especially when I talk of my own country, India. So here we can say that we have what we call as Indian Information Service. Indian Information Service. One is Indian Information Service, which is an allied service of the UPSC civil services. For example, if you have the IAS, IRS, IFS, IPS, and then there's one service that is Indian Information Service. So these are the Indian Information Service people who are not actually the professional people. They are selected by the civil services exam, and then they get this Indian Information Service. So another Indian Information Service, which is also done by the Union Public Service Commission, is the service of the professional people of the communication, of mass communication, of journalism, who are then shortlisted on the basis of their experiences, on the basis of their qualifications, and on the basis of their backgrounds as far as communication, mass communication, media studies is concerned. And then an exam happens, and then an interview happens in 2 levels. I think one is done by the SSC and another senior level is done by the UPSC. So this is one of the careers. I think every 1 or 2 years the posts are advertised by both the UPSC or by the SSC, and this service, both the senior grade, junior grade, as well as the Indian Information Service of the direct UPSC civil services, they are all under the Information and Broadcasting Ministry, Government of India. So this is one another option which you can go for in India. Also, when we talk of communication, as I have already talked to you about my earlier videos, communication is the basis of all subjects. So in every field, be it health, be it agriculture, be it any department or any ministry or any field of government or of private organizations, everywhere you have a demand of a public relations officer, a communication officer, an information officer, because every field needs, every department needs that the work they do, that the activities they do, that should be known to the public, that should be known to the media, that should be known to the communication channels working in that state, working in that country. So this communication subject is a basic necessity. These communication people are a basic requirement, basic necessity in every office, in every field. As a student of any subject, you must be hearing these words that there is job crunch and people don't have jobs, and what will you do after completing your post graduation, after completing your graduation, or even after completing your doctorate. There's nothing like that. It's all nonsense, and these are all lies. That if you have the real knowledge of the subject in you, inshallah, Almighty Allah will definitely provide you one of the best jobs. So don't give any heed to these nonsense talks that there is no job or there's nothing like that, that you don't have jobs or you don't have this, you don't have that. If you have the basics of your subject cleared, if you know your subject well, definitely Almighty Allah will give you a good job. Almighty will provide you a good future. So another career when we talk of mass communication and journalism is photography. So photography or photojournalism is one of the very important subjects, or we can say sub-subjects of mass communication journalism. So when we talk of photojournalism or photography as a career after mass communication journalism, if a person, a communication student, has to go for photojournalism or being a professional photographer in future, so he should have this natural love for photography, for photojournalism, and he should have that distinctive characteristic that if he takes a photograph, and another student, another person takes a photograph, there should be of the same thing, of for example of the same tree, of the same landscape, but there should be something which should be pleasing to the eye. And for example, if during my for example during my studies, if I was taking a photograph and one of my batchmates or one of my classmates, he was taking a photograph, for example, I will talk of one of my batchmates who is one of the renowned photojournalist of my state. So whenever he used to take a photograph of the same thing and then I used to take the photograph of the same thing, there used to be a lot of difference. And his photograph was really appealing. Whenever I see his photograph, he see his photographs nowadays. Actually, he is a professional news photographer, as well as he has this passion of other wildlife photography as well as this nature photography. So whenever I see his photograph, his news photograph or his nature photograph, it looks appealing, it appeases you, it gives you a sense that you have seen a photograph and there is some message that has been conveyed by the photograph. Actually, when we talk of a photograph in news journalism, one photograph, one real photograph of a news journalist, of a news photojournalist, is equivalent to 1,000 words of the same news which is written. Then you can see the power of a photograph. So when we talk of photojournalism, be it any genre of photojournalism, be it news photography, be it wildlife photography, be it nature photography, even there are photographies related to people, there are photography related to flowers. For example, if I talk of one of the renowned photographers of the world, Andries Groski. He's a German photographer and his theme is people. I suggest you to see some of his photography collections, and then you'll see the difference which a layman, which a person has when he takes the photograph of the same landscape and Andries Gursky takes a photograph of the same landscape or the same place, and you'll see difference. This difference comes with the characteristic, as I have told you, which a person has for vis-a-vis photography, and then the experience and the love he has for photography or photojournalism. Otherwise, if a person has these characteristics for photography, he has love for photojournalism, and he has that patience to learn photography, he gains experience, then there will be no match for him when we talk of being a good photojournalist or being a good photographer. And there are photojournalists who are millionaires because of this field they have chosen, that is photography. But it needs experience, it needs that love which you should have for that photography, and everyone doesn't become a photojournalist, or everyone doesn't have this real knowledge of photography. And there are many roles in photography, there are many roles in photojournalism, but actually every rule in photojournalism has to be broken at one or the another point when you go into the field and when you have to make your photograph totally different from the photographs taken by other people, from the photographs taken by other photojournalists. And especially when we talk of news journalism or news photography, in news journalism or in news photography, a person should know the newsworthiness of the photograph. There's no rule when it comes to newsworthiness of a photograph. So this photojournalism as a career is another career. If a person has a love, has a passion for photography, then he should go for photojournalism or being a photojournalist. So when we talk of careers in mass communication and journalism subject, after completing mass communication, a student of mass communication can then join any media organization, be it electronic media, be it print media or online media, and then he can start his job as a journalist, be it a correspondent, be it a reporter, be it an editor. most of the people who have completed mass communication, they then start in the electronic or print media as reporters, or maybe if they have a good sound knowledge and they have a good academic background, they can then start as editors as well. Also, for example, many people, when they complete their mass communication, they are, for example, some have a good interest in sports journalism, some have good interest in social life and entertainment, some have good interest in politics. And then, for example, when we talk of India, where we have some of the big cities like the capital New Delhi, then the metro cities Mumbai, Madras, known as Chennai nowadays, and Kolkata, and other big cities also, where we have beat journalism. So there are the people who have specific interest. For example, some want to cover health, and they can cover health, be health journalists or health reporters, health correspondents. And then for example, if some people like to cover agriculture and related fields, they can then cover on specific topics. And most of the students who come out, they start with these soft beats, and then when they move on, then they also touch the political beat, the crime beat, the health beat, which is very important nowadays. As well as also depends on the situation, and it also depends on the environment and the state of affairs in which a person or a country or a state is at that time, and as per that, beats become important. Also nowadays we have a career of films and entertainment industry, and we talk of the students of mass communication and journalism, and it's not always that a person then goes and acts out there. The big thing is, the important thing for a mass communication student is that whatever skills he has learned during his studies, be it during the graduation level or the post graduation level, he or she has to bring that into action as an assistant director, or he or she can be a part of any professional field of making films, and then he can bring his or her skills which he or she has read during his or her university days, and then those students can bring them into action. So this was some information regarding the career prospects of the subject of mass communication and journalism. I'll be again making some more videos on the topic of careers in mass communication and journalism subject. Thank you.